Hello, I'm Martha Zierden, Curator of Historical Archaeology at the Charleston Museum. Our archaeological collection includes over 2 million fragmentary objects from in and around Charleston, across South Carolina, and around the globe. Most of our professionally excavated collections come from in and around Charleston and date to the 17th to 19th centuries. Rarely do we find organic objects such as fabric, leather, or wood unless preservation conditions are pristine. But from the excavations at the museum's Heyward-Washington House, we have a single artifact that is both rare and remarkably preserved. These were retrieved from the lowest level of the privy, where their charred conditions and the privy's persistent dampness permitted these perishable fragments to survive. The museum's Heyward-Washington House was the site of the first professional excavation in Charleston, conducted in the 1970s by Dr. Elaine Harold, wife of museum director Donald Harold. Dr. Harold excavated off and on for 4 years, excavating in the kitchen cellar, the workyard between the kitchen and stable building, the driveway, the front of the house, and the privy. The privy was excavated in 10 levels, with significant artifact deposits dating to the second quarter of the 19th century and to the Revolutionary era. The coiled basket was identified by basket makers and by Dale Rosengarten, author of Row Upon Row, now in its 4th printing. The basket was made of rush sewn with palmetto strips, and this heavy construction indicates that it was probably a work basket like a fanner basket. Fanner baskets are wide, shallow baskets used for cleaning threshed rice. Contents of the basket were thrown and tossed into the air so that the lighter chaff moved to the outside. The wind then blew away the light chaff while the rice grains fell back into the basket. Our permanent exhibits feature 3 fanner baskets, while we have over a dozen in our history collections. Our oldest intact basket dates to the early 19th century. Based on other artifacts in the privy fill at the same level, these fragments were discarded in the late 18th century. This is the earliest known example of Lowcountry seagrass basket tradition, one still practiced by African American basket makers today. In Row Upon Row, Dale Rosengarten notes that fanner baskets are enumerated in inventories as early as 1730 to 1740, but the Heyward-Washington baskets are the oldest physical remains. This rare find speaks to the careful excavation of the Heyward-Washington privy. It links archaeology to the broader study of African American life in Charleston and to the material evidence of African knowledge and skill. As an archaeologist, I am pleased that this small fragment stands as the earliest example of this beautiful and durable craft. I'm honored that the museum exhibits these fragments alongside more complete materials that represent African American life. You can see all of these objects on exhibit in our Lowcountry History Gallery. I invite you to explore all of our collections on exhibit here at the Charleston Museum.